Arthur, I have some bad news for you. This is the last time we'll be meeting.
You don't listen, do you? You just ask the same questions every week. How's your job? Are you having any negative thoughts? All I have are negative thoughts.
Joaquin, thanks for your time. Congratulations for the movie. Congratulations for your character. It's a very emotional work and physical work. So the first question is, do you remember what was your first feeling about the story, the script, the character?
I didn't. I think what attracted me to it was that I didn't have one feeling. I think that's what was most exciting. It felt like it challenged me in different ways. It challenged my ability to feel sympathy and compassion towards somebody that evolves into something that is really repulsive, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And it was also, it challenged my idea of humor, and really examining kind of humor through our modern lens and this kind of PC culture and the way that we look at humor, mm-hmm. Which I thought was a really interesting theme to explore in a film. So I didn't just have, it wasn't an easy movie, it wasn't an easy character to understand. Mm-hmm. I didn't think that I knew precisely what it was. It frightened me a little bit, it made me uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. But I think for all those reasons, I felt compelled to be a part of the film and to make it, because it just didn't provide any easy answers, and I like that. To me, that is reflective of real life.
Mm-hmm. The first question is, how did you get the idea for this new Joker, this new story?
Right. I mean, I guess it first came up in just seeing, quite frankly, the amount of comic book movies that get made and how they kind of have taken over the movie business, at least here in the States. And thinking, boy, you know, they all feel very similar to me. And I don't mean that in a mean way. They just seem, and maybe there's a way to do one that just take a different approach with it, take a more grounded approach. Why does it need all the CGI, and why do people fly and all these things that so loud? I'm like an old man. And you go, maybe there's another way to do this, and that's where it came from.
Yeah, when you see the film, it's impossible not think in classic like Taxi Driver, the king of the comedy, you know, thinking David Mamet.
Yeah.
What was your inspiration for the art, the location, and the general look of the film?
Well, it was that. We not only set the movie in the late 70s, early 80s, right, of Gotham, I also wanted the movie to feel like it could have come out in the late 70s, early 80s. So we looked at all those movies, Sidney Lumet, obviously Scorsese, Arthur Penn, these great directors that have made these movies that really influenced me as a filmmaker young, just growing up watching them and loving those movies.
We remember many Jokers of the movie, the series, and the comics, but this is different and unique. So, for you as an actor, what is the most complicated part from make a character like this one? It's an icon from the comics, from the pop culture. Mm-hmm. What is the most complicated part?
I think probably to shift the perspective from thinking about him as an icon, which is understandable. That would be the first thing that you would do, because of course we are so aware of this character. But it was to try to uncover the man primarily, and I think that was probably the most difficult shift for me. To not think about him as the Joker that we know, but to think about him as the man. And I think as soon as I allowed myself the freedom to do that, with a lot of encouragement from Todd, I think then I was able to kind of understand it more or explore different sides of it that I wouldn't have anticipated normally.
Mm-hmm. Was it difficult to find the laugh of the character?
It was difficult. I had models. Todd, before I ever read the script, he showed me videos of people that have uncontrollable fits of laughter, and And so I had a goal, right? I could understand it, and the script also described the laughter as being almost painful. So there was a motivation behind it that I knew that it had to come from a physical feeling and an emotional space. But you know, it was difficult to find it, and even I think even once I found it for one scene, it would prove challenging in the next scene. You know, there was never a point where I had it down and it was easy. It always felt like it was a struggle to find it in a genuine way for me.
Mm-hmm. So, what is the most complicated part from make a movie with an icon character like the Joker?
Well, I guess the most complicated part is the expectations, right? Because
yes.
you say you're making a Joker movie, and all of a sudden the internet goes crazy and attacks you for everything you've done your whole life.
Yes.
And you're like, whoa, 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 how about we get to make it first? So I think the hardest part, and still the hardest part, even right now today, is the expectations, you know? It just, but I knew that going into it. I just didn't expect it to be that intense.
Mm-hmm. And why did you choose Joaquin for Arthur Fleck?
Once I came up with the idea, I went to Scott Silver, who I wrote it with, and I said, here's what I'm thinking, and I want it to be Joaquin Phoenix. And then from that moment on, we started writing it for Joaquin.